Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death.
Hello, so sulky, dejected, and rejected by your would-be mentor. You sulk down towards the docks.
Yeah. Well, if they don't want to teach me, that's fine. I wanted to work with the people of the city to protect the city from criminal elements, and I'm just going to have to do that on my own. So, Selkie is... It's still early in the day, so I will... Guess I'm just gonna find a spot to wait until nighttime, and then I will patrol the streets of the city, and hopefully come across some sort of illegal activity, or maybe I'll set a trap and make myself look like a person who it would be easy to mug, and then counter mug the muggers. Not sure exactly the route that I'm gonna take.
All right. So it's morning. Where do you spend the day? What does that look like? How do you occupy your time?
I'm gonna go find a nice tavern, or a common tavern. Really, it doesn't need to be nice, and grab some food, grab a couple of drinks, sit down and muse to myself about these things, and think about the fact that if I'm going to be a vigilante person protecting the citizens of Solstace when the Sunblade and Moonblade fail to, then I will probably need a disguise to protect my identity. So Selkie will be sitting at a bar, a mug of ale in hand, a side of fried potatoes.
Where do you find this bar? Are you looking for the one on the docks itself? Somewhere in this part of town?
No, I'm going to go to just a regular part of town. I've been spending a lot of time down on the docks lately, and if I'm going to be doing some vigilante things, I kind of want to change up my area where I'm hanging out. So I will find a tavern. Look at the maps here. The blue are the nice sandstone buildings, and the red/orange are the wooden buildings, right?
Correct.
I will hang out maybe in... Oh, I forget the name for this quarter. Is this the new quarter?
Considering all the new wooden construction, that seems like a reasonable name for it.
Yeah. I'll see if there's a tavern in the new quarter for me to spend my time at.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly which building. One of these, sort of along the main thoroughfare, is a inn tavern called the Traveler's Oasis.
Yeah, is it?
Can't remember. It might be like that one.
Yeah, that's fine. I will head over to the Traveler's Oasis.
They have rooms, a comfortable common room, and food and drink for sale. It's mostly a merchant. Most of the clientele are merchants or travelers. Doesn't look like you're going to get into much trouble or find many vagabonds here or ne'er-do-wells, criminals to intercept. To be a comfortable spot to rest, hang up your hat.
So I will hop on in, I'll order some French fries and a beer. I will snack on the fries, sip the beer, and think to myself, if I'm going to be a vigilante in the streets of Solstace, how am I gonna, I need a MO.
Well, one order of elven fries coming right up.
Elves really are the French people of Middle-earth. So I could use some sort of disguise for my vigilantiness. My name is Selkie, so honestly the coolest disguise would be some sort of like seal outfit that I can on and off, but I don't think You know, what would my vigilante name be? The Crimson Seal? It's kind of sad. It's not a very intimidating animal. I guess neither is a bat, but Batman can at least like fly and jump off from things and has, bat gadgets. I don't think
You'll get
Selkie
there.
the Seal is gonna really work for us here. So I think the real important thing then is just the mask. I can change my clothes pretty easily, but I'll need to hide my face. How much of a mask do I want is the question. I think a full facial coverage mask would be great, including hiding the ears. That's an important characteristic that I'm going to want to be able to conceal. So I'll probably want... Oh. Thinking something with scales on it. Really have any good clothing related making skills. So I think I'll probably have to go buy a mask from someone. But if I buy a mask and then someone sees it, then someone will easily know who, then it could be traced back to me. So I'll probably want to make some custom alterations, but I'm not really good at that. Maybe I could just buy a generic mask? Maybe I could outsource this work to someone else down the road and get myself a better mask after I can travel to another town sometime.
Well, as you're thinking this and sipping on your beer, why don't you roll a perception check?
Perception check. Go. 22.
Right. Maybe you didn't think much of it at first. That you realize about halfway through your beer that there's a dwarf in here. And he walked in shortly after you. I think you shrugged it off because you didn't want to be prejudiced or anything, or make assumptions. I don't know, but you're pretty sure you catch him sort of looking over at you, and then averting his eyes and staring back into his drink. Yeah, he also has barely touched his drink, which is also weird for a dwarf. If we want to be prejudiced.
Oh, we were trying to avoid that this time. Do I recognize the dwarf? I make a charisma check to see if I had noticed him from somewhere.
Sure.
26?
You're pretty sure you haven't seen him before. But he's wearing a black cloak, which we all know is an excellent disguise, so maybe that's just covering up his true identity.
Hat, that would also work, I think to myself. A wide-brimmed hat that I can tip low.
The dwarf is wearing a hat. It's not wide-brimmed, it's like more like pointy. And think like a black like Peter Pan hat, Robin Hood or something.
Well, I'll get up after I finish my stuff, and I will step outside after paying for my food and drink, and slowly make my way down this alleyway.
All right.
Down to over here. When I get to around this corner, I want to throw a quick glance back this way to see if said dwarf is following me.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
22.
You peer around the corner, and indeed you see said dwarf peering down the alley in your direction.
I will keep walking. I'll walk to here, and then I will stop just around the edge of this corner and get ready to tackle the dwarf.
Do-do. All right. The dwarf unwittingly walks right into your ambush.
And I will try and knock him to the ground.
He is not surprised mechanically, but you do get like your ambush attack off.
Okay. Well then, I'll just try and knock his feet out from under him. I will attempt a shove or a knockdown or a push.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to
Maybe
call it.
some more exciting...
Like that?
Exciting music. Yeah. And make your attack roll.
Okay, 1d20 plus 0. I think he sees everything coming, right?
He did not see you coming. He's trailing you, so he's not surprised, but you blindside him.
Okay,
like he's looking the wrong way or something when you jump out at him.
Excellent.
16. That will hit. You collide with him and his chain jingles.
And I try and knock his feet out and drop him to the ground. The strength check of a 26.
You jump out from this alley, whatever, and full on tackle him, level him. He's prone. You're on top. Let's roll initiative.
6 plus, including weapon speed.
All right. You're going for a dagger?
Yes.
He is as well, and you go at the same time.
Okay. I want to threaten him with the dagger, not actually wound him or attack him with the dagger. So I want to climb on top of the dwarf, like he's been knocked down, so now I want to put myself in a position where I'm sitting on him, and I can hold the dagger threateningly above him and ask him who he is. Who are you?
He pulls out his dagger defensively, I think. He was like going for a block or something, or a parry.
Mm-hmm.
And your attack never comes. He grimaces, looks up at you, doesn't say anything immediately. And then there's a noise from overhead as a window opens, and it's like, "Oi! What's going on down there? Take your trouble elsewhere."
I ignore the voice above me, and I look at the dwarf and repeat, "What's your name? Who are you?"
He is going to attempt to escape. So roll another strength check. Ooh, he doesn't roll that great.
I've botched it. Natural 1.
How should we resolve that? So he doesn't pass, so he can't escape, but I feel like I should punish that natural 1 somehow. I think you're like distracted by the woman above you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you some sort of disadvantage going into the next round. Let's roll. We're gonna need to roll initiative again to see who acts first.
Okay. 1d10 plus 2, because I'm still waving the dagger in his face. I'm not sure.
All right, you can actually go first. So you were distracted when he tries to get away, but you're still on top of him.
So I will ask one more time. Who are you?
He's squirming, trying to get away. He can't.
He won't answer?
He doesn't answer, and he can't get away. Like, I know you can hear me! Get out of there! Or get out of here!
I guess I just want to hit him with the... I don't want to cause him, like, bleeding wounds. I want to hit him with the pommel of the dagger in the head. You know, something painful, but non-life-threatening.
You want to try some sort of sap maneuver?
Just non-lethal damage. I don't want to quite knock him out.
Okay. Make your roll at -4.
And then +4 because I have him pinned to the ground, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So a natural 15. Modified 15.
Yeah, that will hit him in the head. So roll for damage.
Whap him for 2 at the back end of the dagger. Non-lethally.
You crack him in the head, and it barely phases him. He's a big burly dwarf.
Hmm.
And
I repeat my question.
yeah.
Ignoring the woman above me.
All right. He's finally going to be able to break free. I think we need to roll initiative, though.
Okay. Does that not an opposed check?
It is, but I have a hard time imagining you'll roll as well as him.
Well, I do have a 13. I could roll a 33.
You could.
I could. Where is my Selkie? I do not roll a 33.
So he breaks free. Roll your initiative to see if this happens before or after your. I think he beat you on initiative as well. But.
5.
Somewhat simultaneous, actually. You rolled a 2, but slower to act. So he shoves you off of him and turns tail and runs.
Perfect. I will give chase. Hopefully a few steps behind because I want to see where he's going. So
he's a dwarf and he's got short, stubby legs. He takes off running back this direction. Vaults down this way. Roll a strength check to keep up.
With the short-legged dwarf?
Shouldn't be too hard.
I have movement rate 12. He has movement rate 6. Why do I need to make a strength check?
I guess not. I mean, he picks up the pace. Vaults down alleys. I guess you don't need to make a strength check. You can just power walk after him for now.
I can walk at half speed after him and still beat him.
Okay.
All right. I follow.
All right. You follow, and he proceeds to begin scaling this wall, the back wall of the inn.
I want to just catch up to him and grab him by the belt.
You can make an attack roll. Yeah.
+2 for back attack. I don't know if there's another bonus for him climbing and being in an awkward position, but 12 should be enough to put my hands on him.
I guess so. Yeah. Make a strength check if you want to pull him down.
I don't want to pull him down. I just want to keep him from getting away. So I'll just hold on to him, and if he can climb and lift my body weight, then he can climb and lift my body weight. You know? Like, I could use him as a chin-up bar or something. I'm not trying to pull him off the building. I'm just going to hold tightly. See if he can climb
Fair
and
enough.
pull me up.
He kicks you in the face.
Ooh.
For
15 AC, actually.
For 15 AC? What the hell do you have
leather
15?
armor plus dex.
You refused the leather helmet, I believe, didn't you? Oh, but I guess you would have to call shot.
Gets a called shot.
Even if he is called...
-4 called shot to the face, still AC 12. Because of the dex.
If I'm not going to retcon. If I could have hit you with a called shot, but I didn't declare a called shot.
The called
So I
shot
guess
should be
that's a
harder to
miss.
make than the regular shot.
No, called shot would be at -4
Yeah, but
versus
you
your
only
armor is
against
15. Oh, okay. I see.
only against AC 12 then. Yeah.
Okay. So he kicks you, but it like doesn't puncture your armor or whatever.
I will hold on to him
And then he
say, "Good."
drops and turns around face to face, and we should roll initiative again.
I guess if I'm still holding onto his belt, how is he turning around here?
You haven't rolled a strength check. You can't like restrain him. You can't stop him from moving unless you're willing to roll an opposed
That's
strength
true.
check.
If you want to, I would be down to oppose strength check to see if he can turn around.
Okay. All right.
Where is my Selkie? 27.
Okay. So you restrain him. You grapple him. I don't know what that. So he tries to drop and turn around, and I think you push him up against the wall, the back wall of the tavern.
All right, and I will lean into him from here and say, I'll put my head close to his ear and say, "Who are you?"
Roll a perception check.
There is the initiative you were asking for.
Okay, yeah.
And upcoming is the perception check. Natural
one. He grimaces at you, gives you the stink eye, and still doesn't say anything. You can act. You gonna hit him again, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and just grab his head and smash his head into the wall. I don't know what that is. That an attack roll? I think that's just a regular attack roll.
It's just a regular attack roll.
Okay. So if I still have him from behind, then that should be +2. Another natural 1. I failed to slam his head into the wall.
Yeah, or it's like... Yeah, I mean, you grab him. He's a strong dwarf with a thick neck. And, you yank on his head, and he just, flexes, and you can't actually get a solid hit in. You're just kind of wrestling with the back of his head. Roll initiative one more time.
All right. 4.
Ooh. Oh, you're not rolling with a dagger. He also rolls a 1, but he's going for a dagger, which you didn't see. And it's here, a moment too late. You notice a dagger in one hand and an empty vial in the other. As he goes to make a stab, shouting, or saying that the cousins send their regards, as he pierces you with the dagger. An 18.
That'll definitely hit.
Not a natural 18, but yeah.
Modified 18.
You take 3 points of damage.
Okay. Alright.
He would like to leave, but you've still got him held.
So I will try and slam him into the wall one more time.
And why don't we make our saving throw versus poison now, just so we don't forget about it.
1 success.
Success. Nice. You get to act.
I was a 13 to try and slam him into the wall again.
Okay. Is that to hit?
Yeah, 13 to hit. Yeah.
I don't think you can do any damage. You keep him held, and you're shaking him around, roughing him up. But he's wearing chain, at least a chain shirt, and
all right. Next round, I'm gonna let go of him.
Able to do damage.
Okay. Next round, I'm just gonna let go of him then, and pull out my own dagger and square off with a 4 on the initiative.
All right. You win. So you don't need to let go. I mean, you can stab him while restraining him.
No, I want to let him go though.
Okay.
So I will let go, take a few steps back to give him some breathing room, and I will make an attack at him from this distance with a natural 18.
That is a hit.
1d4 for damage. 1. I will give him a small graze to remember me by.
Just a scratch. And he actually rushes past you and flees. You can make an attack of opportunity.
I will take my attack of opportunity, but more importantly, I want to just follow after him. So actually, can I forgo the attack to follow after?
The opportunity attack is free.
Okay, then I will
You've already made your attack, so I think you will be moving at his movement rate this round.
10 to hit.
Is a miss.
Then I will follow after him. Where's he going?
He is running, weaving through alleys. You're able to keep up with him that round. He shouts as he's running, "Rot in hell, you nosy elf!" And he attempts to pick up the pace. Ooh.
Fine. I can walk after his run, and I can jog after his double run.
Yeah. So I think he wears himself out, and he comes stopping, panting somewhere around here. Damn, you're fast.
I follow along behind him, dagger out, looking at him curiously, bleeding from a couple of small wounds. Mm-hmm. And I stay, 8 feet away from him, just outside of striking range.
Mm-hmm. He stops and is panting.
I just watch him.
He sort of looks up at you with this look of, disbelief in his face that he's been defeated so absurdly, so mechanically.
Put down your weapons.
He leans against the building, struggling to catch his breath. Let's see.
I pick up something from the ground, a rock, a piece of refuse, a loose board, and I throw it at him. Yeah, I'll back up a few feet and throw it at him.
Mm-hmm.
+1 because it's a missile attack. I don't really hit him.
Yeah. It's fine. It wasn't necessarily apparent that you were trying to. And it's around this time that you hear, coming from behind the dwarf, "There they are! That's them!" And you see the woman from the floor above leading to City Watch down the alley towards you.
I'll sheathe my sword and cross my arms and look at the dwarf, and then point to the injuries I have sustained. Where did he stab me? In my sides, my arm, my leg, my face, my belly? Where did I get stabbed?
In the belly, yeah.
I'll point to the bleeding wound in my belly, and then at the dwarf. I won't say anything.
Two City Watch, come around, like, "What's going on here?" And they
stabbed me. That dwarf right there. He had a vial of something in his hands too. I don't know if he still got it on him or if he dropped it down in that alleyway back there. Just take a left and then a right.
Roll a charisma check.
Little bitch stabbed me. Miserable failure.
They look between the two of you. It's a little bruised and bleeding too, but I think the situation is it's too apparent. Right there, it's pretty obvious. They're like, and one of the guards grabs the dwarf. He shakes, but they grip him. Like, "You're coming with us." And one of them proceeds to bind his hands with a length of rope they had.
Who is this guy? I asked the City Watch.
I should be asking you the same question.
He was in that tavern with me.
Yeah, the dwarf just maintains eye contact with you, glowering.
He called me a nosy elf, and he followed me from that tavern into this alleyway where he tried to jump me. And then he stabbed me. Who is he?
One of the guardsmen is dragging the dwarf away at this point, while the second stays with you. And he says, "Well, you're safe now, ma'am."
Yeah, but who is he?
You're telling me this dwarf that you don't know attacked you for no reason?
Well, I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know what it is yet. I might know if I knew who he was.
He shrugs. The dwarf is dragged away.
I will follow the other guard. that's dragging the dwarf, and I'm going to see
Now,
where they
hold
take
on a
him.
sec. The one guard that's with you sort of puts a hand up, and he's like, "It's okay now. You're wounded." And he like pulls out a handkerchief and like
I
begins to
brush him
pat
away.
you.
I'm like, I'll live. Where's the jail? And I'm trying to push past the guard and follow the dwarf.
He blocks your progress.
I take a few
I mean,
steps back. Hey, mister, this is creepy. Leave me alone. I put a hand on my dagger. Dark alleyway, and this guy's trying to strong arm me and
It's a
trying to
bright
like
alleyway,
touch up
and
my
there's
belly.
the woman nearby.
and- Yeah,
He's
I
got a
don't know.
handkerchief in one hand. He sees your hand go to the dagger, and he says, "Now, what's going on here?
I'm just trying to leave, and you're blocking my way and trying to touch me. Get out of my
Can't
way.
leave- You can't leave until you answer a few questions." Like,
I try and walk the other direction, like back the other way.
hey now, come back here. The guard reaches out to grab you, I suppose. He catches a grip of your your collar or something. Who are you? And what are you doing scuffling in this alley?
I stand there shocked. I stare at him, eyes wide, mouth agape.
They were
Ha! I get stabbed. And you're asking me what I'm doing getting stabbed? Are you victim blaming here? Town guard? Really? Really? What am I doing getting stabbed in the middle of town? I don't know. What am I doing getting stabbed in the middle of town, huh? What happened to law enforcement? Why can't a person walk freely through these streets without being harassed both by brigands like that dwarf and brigands like yourself?
Calm down and watch your tone with me.
Or
I'm
what?
merely
You're gonna throw
responding-
me in jail for trying to protect myself? I see what this town
I
is
feel
full
like
of.
if this were a TV
Corrupt,
show, there'd be a
useless
cut
guards.
to Selkie in a jail cell. But because it's D&D, we'll play it out.
Yeah.
'Cause I would appreciate some modicum of respect.
When you've earned it, Mr. Strong Arm over here, huh? What are you, some sort of authoritarian? Can't a free citizen walk on her way?
I'm City Watch. Of course I have authority. And this, I'm here responding to complaints of you disturbing the peace, merely asking a few questions, and here you are, fleeing the scene of a crime.
I'll tell you what happened. He stabbed me like I said, and then you wouldn't tell me who the hell he was. So who is he?
I don't know who the hell he was. I'm trying to get to the bottom of that, and you won't answer our questions.
I was in the tavern. He was staring at me all creepy like, so I left. And then I came into this alleyway. I saw he was stalking me. And then I came around a corner, and there was a scuffle. And then he stabbed me. And then you showed up, and you started inappropriately touching me. That old woman saw it, didn't you, ma'am? You saw the way that he was going for my belly.
She kind of gives about the guard.
About the guard.
He's just doing his job. I don't know what a strumpet like you is doing, prowling
strumpet?
around these alleys.
A
You should know.
strumpet? Listen, you old nag. You've got the voice of an aged banshee, all right? And you've got the nosiness of a gnome. Maybe if you had something to do with your life, you wouldn't be stuck up in that room, staring out your window, yelling at passersby. Maybe if you had some level of charisma or attractiveness or personality, you wouldn't
If
be
I
an old
wasn't here,
maid
you'd
in
be
your
dead.
own
You'd be
attic.
dead in that gutter right there. What is your intention with inciting this old woman? What would you like her to do?
Soki is just reacting emotionally. There's no long-term strategy here. This is just the people have pissed her off and she's pissed off.
All right, you get in a shouting match with both the woman, the witness, and the guard. We can breeze through the scene if you'd like.
Yeah,
and
there's
leave you free to go.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I will leave, and I will go ask some random citizen where the jails are. Or, I'll try and find my way to a jail, to the jail. I assume there's only one. I will ask for directions from nearby people.
the City Watch is that big building on the corner over there.
All right.
There are
Then
also, yeah.
I will head over there into the front gate to where the guards are. And I will say to whoever's on duty,
and 2 guards by the front gate.
a dwarf was just arrested and brought over here for stabbing me in the belly. I'd like to speak to him.
Dwarf.
Dwarf. I will describe the 2 guards that arrested him.
Roll a charisma check, I think, to like properly identify said guards.
23.
I think we just brought in a dwarf, but who the hell are you?
I'm the person he assaulted. I would like to question the dwarf and figure out why the hell he stabbed me. And I think the best way to do that is with him behind bars and without a weapon.
You would like to question a prisoner. And who are you?
The person that was stabbed.
He looks at you, sees a wound, says, You're bleeding, man. Perhaps we should get that looked at.
Can I talk to the prisoner first and then get it looked at?
And don't be silly. Let's get you patched up. And one of them
Fine, I let them patch me
moves
up.
to okay. I think they'll take you back over to the temple.
Okay.
One of these guards at the door will.
I want to take a good and careful look at these guards' faces, though. Like, I want to spend a moment staring at them and memorizing hair color, eye color, lines on, all the things.
These are 2 different guards from the ones that rescued you in the alley.
Yeah.
How many guards' faces are going to commit to memory?
These 2 in particular are the ones that I want now. I'm sure the guard that I was yelling at is hopefully someone I could remember. So these 3 are the most important ones at this time.
All right.
I've got a...
In my mind, they're fairly interchangeable, but if you'd like, you can ask for their names.
Yeah. What's your name and rank?
You say to the one walking you down the street.
Yeah.
I'm Constable Hank.
Constable Hank. Are there multiple Hanks here, or are you the only one?
Hank's a pretty common name, but I think I'm the only one on the city watch.
You sure? Do you have a nickname, just in case?
Hank.
Hank. All right. All right, Constable Hank. Patch me up, baby.
He takes you to that little cabin, whatever. The gardener's whatever.
Shed?
Shed. It's not quite a shed. More of a workshop.
Potato, potato.
Father Eustace, he says, knocking and peering in. Yes, you see the same elderly gardener as before, for the patch ship before. Just, oh, you're back. Says, gotten yourself into some more trouble. Says, hobbling over.
Sort of.
Dude,
I was accosted by a dwarf, and then again by the city guard. What sort of people do you hire here?
Now, says the city guard, I didn't lay a finger on this woman.
No, not this one. The other one.
He sighs. You know this one. The guard asks the priest, the gardener. I patched her up just the other day. Trouble just seems to follow you around, doesn't it?
Apparently,
Let's have a
this
look at
one
you.
was literally stalking me through the city streets.
A dwarf, you say? I think the constable takes his leave unless you say
That's
otherwise.
fine,
Yeah.
I mentioned to him, yes, it was a dwarf. And no one would tell me his name or let me see him after the fact. They just whisked him away into the jail cells.
Where else would you put a cutthroat?
I'm sure that's the right spot for him, but it seems like the City Watch here is trying to prevent me from speaking to these creatures, or trying to hide them or cover up for them. I think there's a conspiracy here. I think the City Watch is in league with these dwarven mercenaries. I think they are intentionally trying to separate them from me. That guy that just dropped me off here, that was Hank the Constable. Remember that name. It'll be important one day. They'll say that he was the one who negotiated the whatever it was between the humans and the dwarves, the City Watch and the dwarven counterfeiters.
You've got an active imagination, don't you?
Why else would they
City Watch
secret
in
him
league
away?
with counterfeiters?
Mm-hmm.
Why, that sounds preposterous.
Oh, surely you understand the concept of corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are foolish enough to believe that corruption happens somewhere other than where you're standing, then you're a bigger fool than I thought. A gardener should know every plant gets its aphids, and if you don't see any on the plant, that's because you have to look under the leaves. This town has aphids.
He nods approvingly. You allow him to treat you?
Yes.
Right. You are wrapped up, bound, cared for by a healer. Wound is cleaned and patched.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything more you'd like to say, or
No, I will thank him. This one gardener. What's this gardener's name?
Eustace.
That's right. Eustace.
Father Eustace, the City Watch called him.
He's both the gardener and the healer.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, I will head right back to the constable station, and we're going to see if these guys are going to continue covering for the dwarves or if they're going to let me in.
All right. Patched up, you head back towards the garrison.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I go right back to the front door, and I say, hello, I'm here to speak to the dwarf that was recently apprehended, the one that just stabbed me.
It's the same two door guards.
I give him the same
you're
spiel.
back. You're back. Oh. We've got everything under control, ma'am.
I would like to speak to the man who stabbed me, if that's okay. If a victim may confront her assaulter. Don't you think that would be justice?
I'm afraid I can't let you in to see the prisoners, miss.
Why not?
For security. Your own...
If he's on the other side of the bars, how would I be in danger?
I can't let you in. Have you rolled the charisma check with these guys?
I have not.
Botched one with the first round of guards, but...
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that the prisoner has the right to... How do I even know he's here? Actually, how do I know you just haven't let him go?
Excuse me?
Let me see that
Who
he's
do
in
you
the
think
cell.
you are?
Just show me that he's here in the cell, and I'll leave you alone.
Let's roll that charisma check. Leave their reaction.
Whoops,
up
that
to
is a
fate.
strength check. This is a charisma check. They are both failures.
Yeah. I've had it up to here with your accusations.
Exactly what a corrupt guard would say.
Move along before I decide to throw you in a cell next to the dwarf.
Oh, that would be preferable. Yes, I'll take that, please.
Get out of here!
No! I want to talk to this guy. And if I have to get thrown in jail to do it, then I'll get thrown in jail to do it. Is there a law against insulting guards?
There is if I say there is.
Your mother's an orc. Your father's a dwarf. Your sister's a gnome. You know how many orcish whores it takes to make a city watchman? Just one.
Let's have you reroll that charisma check. I'll give you advantage.
28.
They're still not going to let you in, but they're amused by your attempts, and they will put up with your jokes for a little while longer without arresting you or beating you or something. How long do you stay here taunting guards?
Oh, I'll spend at least an hour taunting them. I want to make them suffer, like I have suffered. So
I think they last about half an hour before they just go inside. They end their shift and shut the door.
Fine. Well then, Selkie is going to head over to this alleyway over here and take a look down to see if there are any back doors out this way.
Roll a perception check.
21.
Yeah, there's got to be a secret entrance. I think it's like here. There's another entrance on this side of the building.
Okay. So we've got like
But
one
it's,
doorway, two doorways.
Yeah.
Great. So I want to... What's this building? Is this another tavern in the main crossroads of the town?
I don't have anything specifically in mind for that building.
Can it be a tavern?
Sure. Yeah.
Woo! All right. I want to go into this tavern.
The tavern is called the City Watch
Nice.
because it sits across the street from the City Watch.
And
It's
I'm
a
going
cop.
to use it to watch the City Watch.
Yeah, you walk in and you are surrounded by City Watch off duty. It's like a cop bar.
Nice. All right. Well,
There
I will
are
enjoy
there
my
are
cop bar.
City Watch in uniform. Even a few knights. There are many robed figures, priests, librarians,
Perfect.
judges. Yeah.
Judges! Oh, hold on. A small casual detail in the background has taken a sudden twist.
I mean,
I will approach one of the
that was
judges.
a question.
One of the magistrates.
Yeah. A robed figure.
I will deeply curtsy before this man, and I will put my etiquette proficiency... how do you say it? And my etiquette proficiency to full use here, and say, excuse me, your honor, I, a mere humble citizen of the town, have a need for your expert knowledge and wisdom. May I please beg a moment of your time?
Roll a charisma check.
27.
Yeah. This is actually a woman, female,
Perfect.
with sharp elvish features.
Better.
What is this young lady?
I will point to the
She was
patched
standing
up
with a colleague.
wound under my armor, and I'll say, Father Eustace has just patched up my wounds after I was stabbed in an alleyway by a dwarf in town who was promptly arrested and supposedly dragged off to the jails, but I have been unable to speak with the dwarf who assaulted me to figure out why I was attacked. I think I might be in danger, but the guards keep tossing me out and kind of creepily coming after me. Keep wanting to rub their handkerchiefs on my belly. What should I do? How can I see that the dwarf is properly in jail and figure out if I'm actually safe in this town?
Whew. That's a lot, miss.
I know.
Assaulted, you say?
Assaulted, stabbed.
In these streets. Well. He's been arrested, you say?
Supposedly. But when I tried to follow after him, my path was blocked. The guard that that one guard took him away, and the other guard cornered me in an alleyway and sort of came after me. It was weird. There was a woman there, and we all started yelling at each other, and eventually they left. But I couldn't see where they took the dwarf. They said they took him to jail, but I have a feeling that they were... I don't want to say anything that might be untoward to the City Watch.
Well, I'm sure if he was arrested, like you say he was, I'm sure he's was taken to jail, where he is awaiting trial.
How could I speak to this man?
That would be most unusual. Why would you want to speak with your assaulter anyways?
Well, because he was following me. He was stalking me, and I don't know why. And then he said something very unusual. He called me a nosy little elf, which means that there was a reason he was following me, and I just don't know what it is. And I don't know if I'm going to be safe or not until I can get to the bottom of why I was stabbed in the streets. Which is why I'd like to speak to him, to figure out if I'm perhaps mistaken, or is there someone out to kill me? I don't know what's going on, and I fear for my life.
Some advice, if I may.
Please.
Perhaps you should stay out of alleys, and maybe stay away from this nasty dwarf business. I'll look into this prisoner, ensure that he's has indeed been detained.
Thank you, Your Honor. I really appreciate that advice and your efforts to look into it. I'll feel much safer knowing that you're on the case.
Yeah.
I will...
Sorry for what you've been through. It's truly a shame that even in a progressive city such as Solstace, that there's still that we haven't been able to wipe out all crime on the streets.
Well, we'll never get rid of all crime. I will curtsy, smile, and head off. And maybe find a window seat if there is one available that I can get a view of both doors. Mm-hmm. And I will watch those doors until I get kicked out of the tavern. See if a dwarf exits from either of them. Oh, there's something wrong in Solstice. There's something fishy in this town.
Yeah. Roll a perception check.
29.
Yeah. There is a large group of City Watch on one end of the bar that is most certainly eyeing you, of watching you. They don't come over and bug you or anything, but you sit down and they consistently, every time you look, at least one or more of them are, keeping an eye on you.
Suspicious. This is how people get into conspiracy theories.
I
Once
know, right?
you accept one slight piece of evidence, everything, the floodgates open. Room 237 all over again. I will ignore these guards for the time being. I need to start making an evidence page. So let me know if there are any dwarves leaving the doors.
You see no dwarves.
The whole day?
Roll a perception check. I guess you just rolled one, right? Yeah.
Yes.
No dwarves come or go from the garrison.
Okay.
You can probably see the front door. So you see the watch change occasionally. There's usually a few guards milling about outside.
let's see. Making some more notes here.
Can you share these notes with me so I can use them to inform my own conspiracy?
It's evidence. The first guard wouldn't let me follow after the guard / dwarf. The second group wouldn't even let me see the prisoner, and were, what do you call it, very dismissive of my concerns in a way that felt conspiratorial. Couldn't even affirm that a prisoner would be had. Just, fuck off, go away, lady. You know? Didn't seem like they were looking out for the public interest. They seemed like they were looking out for the interest of the prisoner. And the judge was the same way. Pistol and... Fuck, I forgot all the words the judge said. There was a solid piece of evidence from the judge, and I can't remember what it was now. Oh, and then we have the guards watching me. City watch bar. All right. So no dwarves come out of either of those doors until the sun goes down. So, yeah.
Correct. Yeah, you stay here all day. I assume you spend money.
Yes, I will, of course, spend money at this. Another 5 copper for eating for the day, or more or less?
More. Let's say 7. It's a nice establishment.
Excellent. I guess... spells have I learned? Okay. I will... Ooh, I'm at 4 HP. I need to be at full before I do the things that I need to do. Is there also an inn here at the City Watch, or is it just a tavern?
There are rooms, yeah.
Perfect.
Looks like a big enough building.
So this is what I want.
Maybe how about next door there's like an inn.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the inn. I want a room for the night, and I want to tell the innkeeper to wake me up before, at the crack of dawn, just as before the sun is visible, but when the sky is getting light, I would like to be wakened. And that I will stay here for a week. So I'll get a room for a week, and I will spend my nights at the inn from after sundown to before sunup. And then between sunup and sundown, I'm going to camp this tavern and watch these 2 doors. And aside from bathroom breaks, which are awkward, because I might actually have to leave for a moment, I'm going to spend every waking hour of the day watching these 2 doors for a week.
So, first night in the inn, you can gain an HP because of your wounds have been treated.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you're up to 5.
Yep.
And you are awoken at dawn.
Okay. Dawn.
There's like a rapping at your door. Wake up call.
Thank you. I will wake up. The armor spell lasts until you've taken a certain amount of HP and damage.
Yes,
That
I believe
means
it's more
it'll
HP
last
than
from
you have.
day to day, right? I could cast it and then it'll be on me until it gets broken, like a week later.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I still have Unseen Servant memorized, and I'm not going to... It's fine. It'll only raise my AC by 1, but that is kind of useful. That's fine. I'm going to... Yeah, screw it. I will... Actually, I'll do it tonight. I'll cast Unseen Servant tonight and then Armor in the morning. Unless you'll allow me to cast a spell now to discharge it and then memorize another spell.
That's fine. You can do it in the morning or the night before. So you can cast your Unseen Servant, memorize Armor. Do you use the Unseen Servant to do anything in particular? Or are you just burning a slot?
I use it to bring me the components for my Armor spell.
Which is... Oh, your blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My leather blanket. Perfect. So I will cast Armor on myself then, and I'll only have the 1 spell slot for the day. Do you need me to make Wild Surge checks to see if either of those...
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. First one. 1d20. Natural 20. Is that a Wild Surge?
Ooh, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Might be.
Where's
I don't know what the table says. Here it is.
Where the heck is the table?
Oh, magic. Wild Surge is a 20 at first level.
All right, then.
Woo! All right, Unseen Servant.
Is this the roll 1d100?
63.
63. Caster and target switch personalities for 2d10 rounds. You become the Unseen Servant. The tables have turned. It bosses you around for 2d10 rounds.
Okay.
You become the servant.
And then 2d10 rounds later, I cast Armor. Whoops, not D100.
Yeah,
D20.
8 minutes pass. You've scrubbed you come to scrubbing the floor.
That was weird. I don't think the magic spell is supposed to work that way.
All right.
And then I spend the rest of the day doing this.
All right. Roll a perception check. We'll summarize the day in one.
That is a botched perception check. No go.
No go. You see nothing.
Great. Next day.
Hold on a second. So you spend the day watching the garrison. Guards come, guards go. People walk to and fro in the streets. You see no dwarves of note. I mean, maybe you don't see any dwarves. There are dwarves in this town, so for whatever reason, they don't arouse your suspicion.
Okay.
I think
that's fine.
And then you go back to your room to sleep. Give the innkeeper the command to wake you up at dawn again.
Yep, same plan.
Okay. However, before dawn, you are awoken. Roll a perception check. No. I think you're awoken to a hand going over your mouth.
Uh-oh.
Stay calm, Selkie. Keep quiet if you know what's good for you. You look around. There are 3 figures standing over you. It's dark, but you have infravision. They are armored and armed with cudgels. Silhouettes of bucket helms illuminated in the moonlight. I'm going to take my hand away, and you better not make a fuss. The hand has moved slowly from your mouth.
I say nothing. You said 3 figures?
3.
Cudgels?
Yeah. Now.
Bucket helms?
Mm-hmm.
Boiled leather armor?
Mm-hmm. City watch. Now, what is it you think you're doing posted up in the watch? Been there nearly 2 days. What is it you're looking for?
A dwarf. A particular dwarf.
We think if you knew it was good for you, you'd pick a different tavern to hang around in. This here is our spot.
Can I speak plainly?
I think you take silence as a yes.
I would love to leave your tavern, but I need to know a little bit about this dwarf that was arrested 2 days ago in the alley behind the tavern near the front of the town on the north side. The Traveler's Oasis, I believe it's called.
You do well to leave the law to the lawmen, and
So let me, are you asking me to get out of your tavern, or are you asking me to stop looking into this dwarf?
I'm suggesting you stop putting your nose where it don't belong. Stop snooping around our tavern. Stop snooping around our garrison. Stop snooping around this town. Does this sound agreeable?
I suppose I don't have much say in this matter.
Suppose you don't.
Well, if that's the case, then Hank. I try and see if he makes a visible reaction. Is it Hank?
They look to each other, and I don't know. Maybe there's a chuckle.
Hank's not one of these guards. Well then, I guess you should just let me finish my night's sleep then.
Tomorrow we better not see you hanging around the tavern.
I will acquiesce.
All right. They will leave your room. Shut the door behind them. You gain 1 HP the next morning. You memorize a spell. Actually, you can gain 3 HP.
Proficient healer from Father Eustace.
Yeah, your wounds are properly treated. Yeah.
Well, that will bring me to 8 hit points, which is not quite the 10 that I need, but is getting me a little bit closer. And this building, this constable building that you've told me about, is made of stone bricks rather than magical.
They're larger than bricks, but they're like,
right?
Stone. It's been,
I'm going to spend this morning going to the library, then.
All right.
Yes. Plan. I'm going to go find a librarian.
Okay. Go to the library.
Excuse me, Master Librarian. I need some help finding out some information about this town. Perhaps you can be of assistance to me. See, I've noticed there's a very odd building just down the road that is made out of brick, out of large stones, rather than being crafted by the very bones of the earth itself.
Very astute of you.
Yes.
Yes.
I was wondering.
That's the garrison.
Yes. Who built it and when? That's what I would like to know. I say I'm a bit of a student of architecture. If you.
It was built before my time, but only a few hundred years ago. Man-made. By hand, you see. Or at least not in the old ways.
So that's after all of the other stone architecture.
Yes, much younger than the rest of the city.
Before the wooden buildings?
Wood comes, wood goes. New construction all the time.
Of course. You don't happen to know the architect's name who designed it? Might that be in a tome somewhere in your walls?
You're free to have a look. I think maybe a good start would be section J2. But
yes.
I'm afraid if I'm to give you any more of my time, I'll have to charge.
I have coin to pay.
In that case, let's see what see what we've got. Wages. Trying to figure out what a sage might cost to do research for you. Thinking we're looking in the ballpark of like 10 gold for a day of research.
That is out of the price range that I'm willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll go look through J2 myself.
Yeah. You could probably hire him for like an hour or two for less, but
that's fine. I'll dig around. If I can't find it on my own, I'll come back and pay him.
But yeah, you are free to browse the library. Do you have any relevant proficiencies?
Literacy. And
You have a literacy proficiency?
I do.
Yeah, let's roll a literacy check.
I think that is based on int, so 1d20 plus 16, 31.
Nice. You spend the day perusing books. Going to ask me a few questions. I mean, you can find when this garrison was constructed.
Yes.
Approximately, 250 years ago.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a name on the designer or architect or head constructor?
Yeah, it was commissioned by the Lord Commander of the Knights of Solstace when or shortly after the City Watch was founded, and constructed by the commissioned by the Lord Commander. There's a head architect was Fizban.
Architect is Fizban.
Yeah, and you can cross-reference. He's apparently was apparently a geomancer of some repute.
Uh-huh. Is there a mention of Fizban's race, species?
He was human, as far as you can gather. You nailed your research check, so I mean, there's a record of his death over 2 centuries ago.
Excellent. Does Fizban the Geomancer have any living descendants in town? Is my next question. I'm sure this book won't answer it, but maybe there's like a last name for him or a place of residence mentioned in town.
He was a wizard of the tower, so he would have resided in this in the marble tower.
Excellent.
Which maybe a lot of this is like new information for you too. Apparently there is apparently there are wizards or whatever in residence in the library.
Excellent.
Or in this town.
So
he was either the Archmage or at least the Archgeomancer of this city for in his time.
Is there any description of the building and its components, like something that says it has room for 50 soldiers, room for a dozen people in 10 different cells, blah 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 blah? Like, is there any sort of
you can find that sort of information. Yeah, I mean, I think the garrison is designed to it was designed to house let's see, I think a full 1,000 soldiers, but the city watch is much smaller than that. The book you're reading is outdated, but it like notes that at the time the city watch consisted of merely 100 men, or it's like 112 or something like that. But the garrison itself was designed to to quarter an army if necessary, or militia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does it mention?
Yeah, and it mentions 20 cells in the dungeon.
20 cells in the dungeon. Does it mention that this is underground?
Yeah, I don't think you can find like architectural plans in this book.
Right.
This was more historical.
But is the context that the dungeons are still below the ground floor? Or is that not clear?
Sounds like the dungeons is underground.
How is that reliable information?
Or
is that just
that seems you can consider that reliable.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So reliably underground, but there's not architecture plans. There's not like a layout, which is understandable. You wouldn't just have that sort of stuff lying around. Let's see. What else do I need from here?
It's worth noting all of these books are like chained to the shelves.
Right.
If you request maybe for a fee, they would unlock them and like bring them to you for private study or something like that.
Right, but you keep these things chained so people don't go stealing books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's expensive to deal with. Okay. That is most of what I need. 1,000, but that's not what. Okay, 1,000 people are capacity, but it's not holding 1,000 now. And you said when it first started, it was at about 100 people.
No, whatever book you're referencing had it about 100, which is probably fairly recent.
Yeah.
You would guess that it wouldn't have changed much since then.
Is there a date mentioned at the front of the book that I can get some?
Yeah, I'm sure there would be. It's less than 20 years old.
Yeah.
We don't have a date for the time. Or even, I don't even know how they would tell dates. But,
Alright, so around 100 current. Dungeon cells are underground. Let's see. If the guards are on the walls, then there must be a way to get from the walls to the inside of the keep, since there's no staircase down the outside. So if I can get onto the walls, I can get into the keep, or if I can get in either the doors, I can get into the keep. I want to get to the dungeon in the underground section. So the next thing I need to do is figure out how the hell I can get from the walls to the dungeon. And there's no layout in the book, which makes sense. So the next question would be, it mentions Fizban the Geometer. Did it give a rank or title? Like, Fizban the Geometer, head of security, or the Great Diviner? Is there some sort of position?
Geomancer.
Okay,
Yeah.
that Geomancer's the
And his
title.
position would have changed throughout his life, right? But
was there
he
a
would have
mention
been-
of his position at the time?
he was an archmage at the time.
Okay. And Archmage.
Or the archmage.
Alright, so the next thing I need to do is see if Archmage refers to a very particular position, or that's sort of like I'm a lawyer at Tom Waits and Shits, Is that
Say
just
again?
like is Archmage a generic position? Like, you might say, I'm a lawyer at this law firm, and my position is, attorney, blah, blah, blah. Is Archmage a specific rank, or is it a general rank? Like, is it VP of lawyering, or is it, like, lawyering minion? You know what I mean?
Maybe roll.
Yeah, I figure I'll
Another
need to
check or something?
find a way. I'll probably have to, like, look in some books about the hierarchy of the Archmage, or the history of the towers here. So where is my... Let's check. Here it is. 29.
Archmage is a title. There's usually only one per tower. I don't know how much
Perfect.
how much other research you'll do onto like other mages or archmages, but
No, this is sufficient for
the
my
implication
needs.
seems to me he was probably the head mage of the town at the time.
Yeah. Okay. And when they say the Archmage of the tower, is it clear which of these two towers they're referring to?
The marble tower.
That's one over here,
This one over here, yeah.
Ah. Excellent. So I will make my way over to the marble tower inside the library and hope that there's a door on the inside that I can knock at. Maybe see if there's someone there who works there.
Almost certainly given a description of the door before.
Yes.
There is... I can't remember what that was. There is an entrance from inside here, but it will be sealed off to you.
Sealed off as in unfindable, or as in just locked?
I guess you are an elf.
Yes.
There is a stone door with no obvious mechanism of how to enter. No handle. Can roll maybe a perception check or something.
Yes. Where is my perception check? Hold on. Here it is. 16.
Yeah, you see no obvious way to get in or activate it. And I think while you are poking around outside the door trying to get in, a white-robed figure approaches you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you? He says. It's a young man, clean-shaven, brown hair.
Why,
Yeah.
yes, you can. My name is Selkie, and I am doing a little bit of research on the great Archmage Fizban, Geometer, from, around 250 years ago or so?
Geomancer.
Oh,
Correct.
you say Geomancer, not Geometer. This is the sort of thing that I need, of course.
Yes.
Lovely.
A stone shaper. Yeah, I believe he was the Archmage several centuries ago.
Lovely.
Are
do you have a moment to chat? I say, looking around. It's kind of awkwardly standing by the wall next to him. Or perhaps I could come back at a more convenient time and ask you or someone else in the tower some questions about him.
Roll a charisma check.
Love to see some samples of his older work. 27.
Sure, I can spare a few moments. Would you like to take a walk?
Please. Where does he lead me into the tower?
No, he does not. He'll lead you out back to the garden here. Out like a side door. Somebody's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I've got any wizardy tokens. These guys are all old grizzled dudes. Matthew Berger stereotyping as wizards.
Too scrawny for you?
They're old dudes with gray beards. In any case. All right, so he leads you outside. I don't believe that Fizbin had many other great works you can see, but as the preeminent geomancer of his generation, he likely repaired many of the buildings that you see around you.
I see. And someone told me he built the City Watch building.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Do you know why a geomancer would build it stone by stone rather than... And I kind of point to the other buildings around us.
Yes. You see, many of the old stone shaping techniques have been lost to the centuries. I don't think there's anyone still around.
Ooh, hold on, your mic is dying on us again.
The hell?
I don't know.
Better?
Yeah, totally fine.
Gotta come up with a solution for that. Cat whinges every time the KGB is listening.
There's no one around that would be able to answer that question?
No, there's no one around with the skill to shape stone in the old ways. In fact, it's a bit of a mystery why. I mean, isn't it magnificent? He says, like gesturing to this stone wall before you. It's essentially an unbroken slab of sandstone that looks like it stretches from one end of the city to the other.
It's extremely impressive. I'm very impressed.
What did you say your name was?
Selkie.
Selkie.
Just Selkie, yes.
I'm Gareth.
Gareth, nice to meet you.
Sticks a hand out.
I will shake it with both of my hands, and give him, flash him a large smile, and maybe hold on to his hands just a moment too long, like a half second longer than would be normally acceptable.
Yeah. He smiles, gives you a dopey grin.
And what is your position here within the tower, Gareth?
I'm an apprentice in the tower, in the marble tower. A diviner.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, I dabble in magic a little bit myself, but not quite the same way that you all do.
He gives you a bemused smile. Are you still holding his hand?
No, I would have let go by now.
Okay. Dabble, you say?
Yes. It's a little bit of dabble. See, as I said, I'm looking into the history of Fizban, you called him a geomancer, not a geometer, right?
A shaper of stones, yes. Not a mathematician.
And I was more interested in his, in the buildings that he would have created and helped to shape. You've mentioned that he would have repaired some of these older ones and helped design this one. Do you think, and I know this is kind of maybe a crazy question, do you think I could get a tour of the inside of some of the buildings he's worked on? and to see how they differ from some of the older designs. I would love to do a treatise on the architecture of Solstace. It's very fascinating to me.
As I said, I'm not aware of any of Fizban's other buildings. I don't even know that he made any others, or if he did, perhaps they haven't lasted.
Well, that will certainly be a lot less useful. Can I get? Do you think I could get a tour of the City Watch building? If that's the only one he's built, that would at least be a good place to start.
Shrugs. Perhaps.
Could you show me?
But I don't have access to the City Watch. But
Well, I'm sure a man as plugged in to the ongoings of the Marble Tower as yourself will know a way in.
What are you insinuating? That I should scry on the City Watch so that you can do your research paper?
Oh no. Nothing quite that nefarious. I just thought a man around town such as yourself would
joking.
know the right.
I didn't mean to offend.
Oh. So you're just too smart for me. That one went right over my head. But perhaps you might know someone that could get us could show us around.
Why is it that you want to see this City Watch?
I told you I'm writing a treatise on the architecture of Solstace, and I sort of arbitrarily picked Archmage Fizban to be the place to start. And then I was going to work my way back in time. Since it's so difficult to see what learn about the oldest buildings, I was going to start with the newest ones that were still of stone, and then go backwards. And this
he pauses to look you up and down, or look at, I don't know, assess your equipment. Do you have a bag or anything on you? What do you wear? What are you carrying?
I am wearing my leather armor, and I have a single dagger at my belt, and I've got a purse, and I have my clipboard, my papers, and I have a small satchel with my notebook and my writing kit in it. Although I suppose my notebook and writing kit are in hand now. Well, I guess they can't be in hand. We don't have proper ink pens. We've just got quills, so you would need to be sitting down to read. So I'd maybe have a satchel over one shoulder with the book and writing kit in it.
Well, what is it you're writing this treatise for? Are you a historian?
Well, I suppose once I write this, I will be a historian. But I'm not yet. One day.
Where is it that you're from?
I'm from the woods, north of. I'm from near the Elfwood. My uncle and aunt raised me there. I don't actually know much more about where I'm from than that. I will try and emotionally connect with this kid a little bit, ask him where he's from. Where are you from?
I'm... DM tries to decide. I was born, raised here in Solstace.
Oh, lucky you.
Indeed. A more beautiful city the world has not yet seen.
Say that again. Well, I suppose maybe it's a little bit too much to ask an apprentice like you to help me with this project. I wouldn't want to take up any more of your time or, make an imposition upon you. Do you know who I might be able to ask about these questions? I wouldn't want you to get in any trouble on my behalf, you know?
The wisdom of the ages, he says, gesturing to the library to your side. There are librarians and sages, but I'm afraid they charge a pretty penny for their time. But the books are free to anyone who has the time and inclination to read.
Well, as a half-elf, you know I'm a half-elf, right? I have all the time in the world, I suppose. He's a human, right, Gareth?
He appears to be, yes.
Well, maybe if you have some spare time, I could pick your brain on some smaller issues a little bit later. If you ever find yourself with a moment to spare and would like some company, I would be more than happy to talk your ear off and plumb your brain for knowledge.
Well, you know where to find me.
No, I don't.
You said you're... Oh.
I have no idea where to find you. Tell me.
Why here?
This very spot. This door?
You're out in the garden, I assume, unless you've walked a full...
Oh yeah, he walked us into the garden?
And back.
Yeah,
he walked you out and around back, and...
Okay.
You're sort of absentmindedly somewhere back here.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you've wanted to loop around, you could have easily
No,
our
location is not important for the time being.
Mm-hmm. You said you are studying magic.
I know magic. I've never really studied it.
You know magic.
Yes.
He looks bemused, skeptical.
Don't you? You called yourself a diviner, right? Can you not divine the aura around me? Take a good, close look at me.
Let's see. Divination. I'm checking to see if there's any he says, why wouldn't that be, why that would be rude to divine on your or to peer at your auras without your permission.
I've expressly given it to you. Take a look. Tell me what you see.
And with that, he reaches into his pocket. Roll a spellcraft check.
1d20 plus... 14. 23.
Yeah. You spot him pulling out a copper piece, which subsequently disappears as he casts spell. And he stares intently at you. And I think with that successful spellcraft check and the fact that you can feel him scraping around in your mind, you can gather that he's casting an ESP.
Oh, that is not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting him to detect magic to see the armor spell I've cast on
but
myself.
I don't know. Oh, you do have armor cast on yourself. That would have made sense. I figured he wouldn't be able to tell that a wizard wouldn't necessarily radiate magic.
No, but I have armor. But if he pokes around in my brain and I can feel him poking around in my brain, I will focus on the words and gestures and material components involved with the Unseen Servant spell. And
You don't have that memorized, do you?
no, but I'm just thinking back to my... Actually, I do have it memorized. Because I cast the armor spell... No. I woke up this morning and memorized and cast armor. No, hold on. How did it... Yesterday, I cast armor, and so this morning I memorized Unseen Servant. Right. Okay. So I've got armor cast, and I have Unseen Servant and the Hall's Reckless Dwemer memorized.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not cast the Unseen Servant spell, but I will think about it. And I will think about the Unseen Servant, like, blowing around the room, like knocking his hat off and, blowing his robes around and whatnot. But I do not cast it.
Okay. I was going to have you roll a saving throw versus spell to like resist him prying deeper and trying to detect what spells you had memorized. But you bring them to the forefront of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks a bit surprised by this. You are a sorcerer.
A wild one at that.
Would you like to learn how to tame it? The power.
You really ever tame such boundless power? I think some people will struggle their whole lives to contain it. I think the best way to approach it is to let the wild flow through you. Embrace it. Don't run from it.
You see his thoughts drift elsewhere. His eyes glaze over as he, takes in your words and makes him think about something else. Oh.
Well, I've taken up more than enough of your time for today. Thank you for everything. And if you happen to find a way to take a tour of that building, I think I would let you show me. Just a little bit.
If you'd like to learn, come back tomorrow.
Learn
I can
the secrets of Fizbin the Archmage, or your approach to magic? Well, I'll see you around. Gareth, come find me sometime. And I leave him.
Yeah. He looks wistfully as you walk away.
All right. I think that's all. Still want to gain another 2 HP, which is probably going to be just another 1 or 2 days of resting. So I'll keep my in-room. And suppose the next day I'll probably spend the rest of this day and the next day poking around the library, trying to find out any more information about the internal structure of that building.
Can roll another intelligence check.
35.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, indeed.
So tell me what you would like to know. You're pretty confident that the plans to the garrison are not stored within this public library.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a consolation prize you can think of that might make sense?
I can already see that the building is less than 50 feet tall. So it's 4 stories, I'm guessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I want to know if there are internal defensive structures. Like a castle might have a wall with a courtyard and then a keep within the wall. So that's like 2 layers of defensive structures to get to the inner goodies. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if there is all similarly an inner defensive structure within this
There's
keep.
no like inner outer wall.
Mm-hmm.
There is mention of facilities inside for like making and repairing equipment, like an armory,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps even a forge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a separate tower, a watchtower that can look out and see most of the city.
Okay.
Parapets. You'll get the gather that the rooftop is flat. There's not like a wall around the top. It's basically a large stone building, large stone square building.
Okay. Um, what about water source? Do they have a well, or do they get water from the rest of the city? Like, do they have their own internal water supply?
Um, the city is supplied water by wells. Um, but I don't think it's not groundwater. There's like a system of aquifers, is it,
Mm-hmm.
that funnel water underground to these wells. So like a plumbing, if you will.
Ooh. Okay. And this aquifer runs into the city from out of it?
Yes, indeed. I think that would be a separate sort of research project, but you've got another day if you'd like to roll another
Okay.
intelligence check.
Not quite yet. And this building draws water from these wells?
The garrison?
The garrison, yeah.
I don't think you find it explicitly stated anywhere, but it can only be assumed.
Okay, but it doesn't specifically say it has its own water supply. It doesn't
Correct.
say like, okay, all right. And in the 2 days that I spent watching the doors, I didn't see anybody like carrying buckets of water into the building.
Correct, yeah.
Ah.
You'd,
Then I would like to look up the water system.
make
See
another
if
intelligence check.
yeah. And can I get after I make this check a view of the area surrounding the city? 29 on the check.
Yeah, so
Get the
there's
world the map.
there's an aquifer outside of the city, subterranean. For whatever reason, it doesn't extend into the city, or they don't have access to it into the city, so it's, I don't know, piped in
Uh-huh. Is it
via subterranean like pipes.
sure? Which way does the aquifer run? Does it like come in from the north, the east,
From
south?
the north, yeah.
From the north. Okay. Well, can I? There must be shafts that you can use that they use to dig out the aquifer and that they can use to maintain it as silt builds up, right? What are these called? I just spent like what are these old what are they, it's not wells, it's yeah. What are these called? Damn it. What are these things called? Quanarts. Quanats? A quanat. Yes, are there quanats? That's what they're called. That are used to pipe this water in.
Don't know what a quanot is.
So back in the old days, to get water from like the water table over to a city without having to dig a giant well there, they would dig all these vertical shafts down, and then once they get to the water table, then they would build a horizontal shaft to get water from one water table to another area, and it'd be tunneled through rock. But there would be like a series of holes dug from the top down, so that as like, you know, water and dirt and silt flows through here, they can go back and like dig them out and keep them clean. So I'm wondering if this underground aquifer would have like an accessible surface area that I could poke my head into, or if
these
it
would
is
be
like
located
dug.
outside of the city, right?
Right.
These would be somewhere in the hills. Yeah, somewhere northeast of the city.
Would such things exist? Would there be a way to get into this underground water system? And is there a map of the underground water system in the library?
I think again with the maps of the garrison, these things are not going to be in the public section of the library.
Right.
For like security purposes, it doesn't seem very well advised to have these things on public display.
Right.
Yeah, but even more directly than, I mean, so there may be a way to go outside of the city and get in via these quanats, or there are like direct entrances to the sewers underneath Solstace from within the city.
Is the sewer the same system as the freshwater drinking system?
No.
Oh, I see. You're saying,
but they both run underground. And there's a sewer system. There's also these underground aquifer. Probably not in the same place at the same level, but you don't necessarily need to go out to the quanats to get access to the Undercity.
Okay. Well, I would definitely find my way to the dungeons at some point.
That can be arranged.
A good way there. A well or a sewer system would also be a good way there.
Yeah. Well, I
I'll
think
think
this.
about it.
Yeah. I think we've bored the viewers with enough research. So if there's nothing else, maybe we'll bring this episode in for a landing.
Sure.
Don't think there's much experience to be had. One thing we did off stream was we decided we would separate wizard and thief experience as appropriate.
Ah, yes.
Right. So most of last session's XP went to your thief class.
Right.
I think again this session I will give you 300 experience to the thief class for the bit with the dwarf.
Okay.
And then we can throw 100 to the wizard for research and for interactions with Gareth. Anything else that was experience worthy this session?
Using spells to overcome obstacles. I used Unseen Servant to steal corn.
That's marginal.
Okay.
That's no.
About it then. Okay.
I don't think so. And you didn't really help. The Unseen Servant didn't particularly help you there. You could have just walked away with the corn in your pocket.
Yeah.
Maybe if you had done the Unseen Servant picking the carrots plan.
Well, there were no carrots. You said there was a field fallow.
There were carrots, but you would have needed to climb the fence and go in within to get within spell range. But anyways.
Yeah. Well,
so what is your experience like?
I believe that's it. 877.5 for the wizard and 265. No, sorry, 265 for the wizard. 877.5 for the rogue. But I do believe I forgot my extra 10%, so I should be at 275 for the wizard. There we go.
Cool. So you're still about halfway the leveling up as a rogue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And a little bit more than 10% as a wizard.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing remarks?
There is something fishy in this seaside town, and Selkie's gonna get to the bottom of it.
You sure it's not just the cockles?
It could be. People probably eat too many cockles and don't realize that they filter the ocean, and so all of the crappy things in the ocean get eaten by cockles, filled with microplastics and toxins. Don't eat shellfish, people. You can probably eat shellfish.
Shellfish are great for you, and compared to like, I don't know.
Don't eat shellfish near polluted water sources, though.
Yes, look up your local, whatever, Department of Health recommendations on safe shellfishing beaches. Yeah. All right. When can they catch more of your streams?
Today we have Empires of Arcadia, I think on Zazarian's channel, but don't quote me on that because I don't really know. No one tells me these things. And that's all we got going for today. Tomorrow there probably won't be of Dyson Men. Maybe we'll see. Then Saturday we've got shenanigans. Sunday is Sunday a hobo Sunday? No, that's next Sunday. Okay. So Empires of Arcadia in 3.5 hours.
Cool beans. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.